Hello everybody, this is the Retro Bear back once again with a special video for you this time, and we're going to be focusing on the Evercade. Yes, it's another Evercade video. There's not enough of those around at the moment as it is. Anyway, this is going to be me talking you through most of the games on the Atari Lynx Collection 1, as I had this given to me a few weeks ago by my dearest other half, Mrs. Bear, as a Valentine's gift, which I still haven't managed to find anything yet to replace that with, or sort of return the favour as such. Anyway, this is Volume 1, Atari Lynx Collection Volume 1, and one of the reasons I got the Evercade in the first place was to be able to play some Atari Lynx games. Now, there are 18 games altogether on this compilation. However, you are only going to see 17 of them, because one of them is so bad, I'm not even going to bother giving it the light of day. That's the Mega Pack Volume 1. That may actually indeed be a video in itself. There we go. Somebody talking about the Evercade in a negative light. That's not very, very unusual, as we are sort of going through these games, and the system catches the imagination of the retro community. Let's move on to the very first game on the compilation, and this is Awesome Golf, and it's not too bad, to be fair. I have played some pretty great golf games over the years: Leaderboard, PGA Tour, the Tiger Woods series, etc. All rather fun and enjoyable to play with. This one's a little bit tricky to work out what you're doing, as you would have seen by that miss shot just then. But over time I gradually managed to pick it up and find out what I'm meant to be doing in terms of moving the cursor around to sort of place the shots a little bit better. Still can't work out what the power indicators are down, up and down the side. It's very, very strange to try and work that one out. But as golf games go, this isn't too bad. It's nicely presented, and I don't think it looks too bad at all from anything from around about that era. I know it's a bit sort of blocky on the screen here, but don't forget you'll be playing this on a much smaller screen than watching this on a big screen now, as I was doing it. Had the Evercade linked up to the television. But yeah, it's very good. You get to select your golf clubs as you go along. One thing you don't know is sort of how powerful they are. Most people who know a bit about golf will probably know that you need to know the range of your club before you play the shot. So a lot of the time here I was sort of stabbing in the dark, which is probably not the best way to do it. But even so, it's a fun little game. Let's move it on a little bit here, just to see you might make it onto the green. This is the fourth shot I made it onto, on a par 4. So we are putting for par here. Let's see how we get on, and we've missed it, and that's probably down to the fact that I wasn't able to move the cursor as best I would like, because it was quite tricky to work out how to do it. The instructions are, shall we say, a little bit lacking. I think they are lacking on a lot of the games, but it's very much when you've got 2 buttons to use, it's a bit tricky. But anyway, it's in the cup, it's in the back of the net. That's good. Can I recommend this game for you to play? Yes, I think if I put a bit more time into this, it'll be a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable. And if I knew exactly what I was doing, I would certainly get a lot more time out of it. So yeah, so there we go. One good start for the Evercade. Now let's move on to the next game. And this is basketball, and it's the Basket Brawl. We joined this one mid-game, and again this was a bit tricky to try and work out what was going on, because as you'll notice there, the blue player has some sort of knife with which to stab me with. I'm playing in yellow here, and I picked up the knife now, and it's one of these sort of games which is trying to sort of, I suppose, be extreme, sort of a bit of speedball with basketball. I don't know. And the idea is like there to incapacitate your opponent, run off with the ball, and score points, which we failed to do there. We'll have another go at it, shall we? Is that going to go in? And it goes in and round the outside, but I'm dead on the floor. And you'll see down the bottom left-hand corner, there's an energy bar which is slowly sort of moving itself up again. This was, I don't know, I'm not sure if this sort of game really works. I don't know. I'm not sure what the sort of bottom line here. Well, I suppose the bottom line here is to score more points than your opponent to win the game. But I'm not sure whether the idea was to do that or incapacitate your opponent so much that you couldn't actually sort of, you'd win the game. And people keep coming in from the side and joining in. You'll notice those 2 gentlemen in the white and red shirts at the top keep walking onto the court and kicking. Let's move it on a little bit further, see some more of it. As you can see, it's a very tight game, 14-16. Where's the other player? I don't know. So it's a chance for me to try and catch up here. So I managed to turn a 4-point deficit into a tied game. But yeah, I mean, anybody can sort of Peter come on there and sort of hit people and knock people over, and I managed to score a basket and then collapse on the floor completely dead. And there's a knife there. I'm guessing that guy in the red shirt's on my side, possibly. I don't know, but I can't get back up until my health bar returns to normal. That's a shoe, which will enable me to go a little bit quicker, you see, so I can run and get the ball, and don't need to hit him, I can just run straight past him. Except I've failed to do so there, and there's a punching, kicking going on. I mean, you know, it's not if it's a basketball game on its own, it's not a great game. I'll be honest with you. But it was, I don't know, I would certainly play it again. It's definitely something I would go back to. Just trying to... Couldn't quite work out whether you've got to sort of release the jump shot at the correct point for it to go through. So I've had 3 goes at that there, and on all 3 occasions failed to score a basket. But yeah, definitely a game I would recommend. I would certainly say go back and play it. And just for the record, I did actually lose this game, but hey, it's the taking part of that counts, isn't it? You know, that's the most important thing. Now, up next, not up next. Press the wrong button. There we go. Right. Dear, oh dear. Technical difficulties as always on the Retro Bear channel. This is probably for me my absolute favourite game on this compilation. This is Crystal Mines 2 Buried Treasure, and it's very much in the sort of Dig Dug, Boulder Dash clone type area, which a lot of retro gamers would certainly realise. People from playing games in the early 1980s will definitely sort of look at this and think, oh, this is quite good, this is quite familiar. And it is exactly what it is. You just go around, you see your little robot there which you're controlling has got a little gun, and he can sort of shoot bits of soil out the way. And the idea is you just keep going around collecting all the gems and the little pockets of money there you can just see below that, and eventually an exit will appear. It could be anywhere during the course of the level, and then you jump in it and go down. And this was probably, as I said, the easiest game to pick up and play on this compilation, and certainly by far and away the best game I played on here. It was one of those where you start playing something, you think, oh, do you know what, I could sit here and play this for hours on end, but I didn't sit down and play it for hours on end. I probably will go back to this at some point. It also makes me believe that because it's Crystal Mines 2, there's going to be a Crystal Mines 1 somewhere. I don't know. I've never even heard of the game franchise before now. We've hit some pickles to collect now. I'm not sure what we need pickles for, but there's some pizza below that by the looks of it as well. So we've gone collecting gems to pizza and pickles. But yeah, I mean, it's an easy play. There's nothing complicated about this. You know, you simply move left, right, up and down, and you press fire to collect these gems. And then you'll hear a sound which means, there you go, the flashing, that means that the warp unit to the next level has been released, but you don't know where that is. So you have to sort of keep uncovering all this soil to find out whereabouts it is. I have a feeling, if memory serves me correctly, it's back down where I started. Is it there? It's not here. Where is it? So it's very important to clear all these. There we go. Nope. So keep clearing the soil down, and then once that's out of the way, it should reveal where the warp point is. But yeah, it's an easy play. It's very, very straightforward. It looks pretty good as well, actually. I've got to say, you know, the simplest games sometimes have the best playability, and this one is no exception to that rule. So yeah, Crystal Mines 2 Buried Treasure, absolutely wholeheartedly recommended from this compilation. Let's move on to game number 4, please, and that is Cybervirus. Now, I'm a bit confused about this one because I wasn't entirely sure what the hell I was meant to be doing. The game sort of started with the initial instruction of head towards the blue towers, which, as you can see there, are in the distance, and occasionally you'll see sort of little robotic men running towards you with guns, like there's a gold one on the right hand side at the moment. And you appear to have a series of weapons, which is I've got a very basic gun at the moment. There's also some sort of bomb and some missiles, and I'm being shot at from somewhere. There he is over there, so just step back and fire that. But I'll be honest with you, I couldn't work out how to sort of destroy these towers. That was where I was meant to be going, and as a result of that, that's about as far as I got, which isn't particularly great when you're reviewing a compilation for a console. So I decided to start throwing bombs at it, grenades at it here to try and blow it up, but that didn't work either. Yeah, so I can't really reserve judgment on this game until I've played it a bit more and actually found out what the hell I'm meant to be doing. So yeah, that's Cybervirus, and I think the jury is very much out until I can put some more time into that and find out what I'm meant to be doing. If you have played Cybervirus and you know what the hell is going on, do let me know. That would be most appreciated. Let's now move forward to a bit of gothic horror for you, because this is Dracula. I think it's Dracula. The full title is Dracula the Undead, and it's a game which is going to require you to put some time into it. Why is that? Well, because it's one of these exploration games where you're having to go around and trying to find objects to pick them up and carry in your inventory and move from room to room and examine things and all sorts. And I must be honest with you, atmospherically and aesthetically it's very, very pleasing, but it is going to be something which is going to take up a lot of time. The control method is also very interesting as well, because you have to use the D-pad to move between, as on the bottom bar going across the bottom of the screen at the moment. So you're moving your character around, and then you sort of then flick to using an arrow which points at examining a series of instructions or talking to or whatever, and then there's on the right hand side there's sort of like things that you're finding to look at. So it's very difficult to, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it does actually work. It actually was going very, very well, and again, because I didn't have enough time to sort of put into it, I didn't really give it the best shot, but it is definitely a game I would go back to. Let's just scan through it a bit more. Let's find another part of the game. So I've actually got out the bedroom. That took a while to come out of there. We're now downstairs. But yeah, it's very atmospheric. You know, there's a very sort of gothic feel to it, and yeah, I think it's really, really good. I think I actually meet Dracula at some point. Here he is. There he is, the star of the show. On the right hand side there, just standing there. I wasn't quite sure what I'm meant to be doing. I think there was something to do with the fact that I'd cut myself shaving or something, and I had to go and I couldn't quite remember what the instructions were to start with. We'd go and do something else, and as a result of doing that, I end up having a very sort of shall we say brief experience playing this game. So as you see, looking at the table, examining on the table, is there anything to pick up there? No, there isn't. I can't pick the table and take it with me, so there's not really an awful lot there. And then there's Dracula. So what shall I try and do? Shall I talk to Dracula? That might be a good idea, or is it a bad idea? Talk to Dracula. Look at Dracula. Talk to Dracula. Go on. Come on. Well, what's the worst thing that could happen? That's a table. We'll try and talk to him. There we go. Talk to Dracula. Oh, and the fresh blood has attracted Dracula. Unrestrained, the Count prematurely ends Jonathan's adventure. And then that's the end of the game. But you see, it's really, really good. So definitely worth some time putting into that one. Let's move on to game number 5, please. And this is another game which I thought looked absolutely dog turd when I first saw it. I thought, what a terrible looking game this is. This is Gordo 106, where you're playing a sort of genetically enhanced monkey who's trying to escape from a science lab, which is basically the worst premise ever for a platform game. I think you'll probably agree with me. But you know what? It's not that bad, to be fair. It's a little confusing, and I think it's a problem that platform games have when they're on sort of small screens, like the Evercade or the Lynx originally. Got to remember, we're talking about Lynx games here, not just the Evercade, Lynx games. In the fact that you can't really see where you're going, and we'll see that a bit later on one other game I was playing. So it's a bit hit and miss, so you can't sort of see a huge amount of what's going on. But I think it's you know, I've played an awful lot worse platformers. It's not too difficult to get into. It's not too difficult to work out what you're meant to be doing and where you're meant to be going. It's a little bit of backtracking if you take a wrong turn. That's a little bit frustrating, but you know, we're going around here releasing captured rabbits, which is always good. You'll notice some of those tables a minute ago, we just went past, there was like a hole underneath it, and if you fall down the hole, you go a different way. So it's not as if the game is over. But yeah, it's a strange old game. I say, you know, I played worse, I played better. It passed the time quite nicely. I don't think it was too difficult. But you can see here that at this point in time here, so pick the banana up, I've been hit by an object from off screen, which I've got no idea what it is. And with these sort of up and down lift things here, am I meant to jump on one? Am I not meant to jump on one? I don't know. Do I jump on it and it takes me somewhere else? I'm actually throwing apples at this group of people. There we go. I'm not entirely sure. Am I meant to jump on that and go down, or jump on the other one and go up? I don't really know. It doesn't sort of. There's no directions, no arrows pointing. It's very much hit and miss. So I'll just do what I would do and fall down the hole and see where that takes me. See, it takes me underground to a different level. Now, is this a bonus level? Is it? I think this was a bonus level. It's just got a bonus level around empty, releasing as many rabbits as you can. But yeah, it's a bit confusing. But on the whole, it's not a bad game. And you'll probably get some mindless time out of it, I'm pretty sure of it as well. So let's see what we got next. Right, so next up we have this will be Ishidu, The Way of Stones, which I think is sort of like a Mahjong type game. And again, because I couldn't be asked to read the instructions, I just spent my entire time filling the screen up with as best I can, and keep getting those really annoying messages dropped on the screen. Columns and Tetris, this ain't. As you can see, I'm just trying to make pretty patterns and fit in stuff where it is. Yeah, I mean, this is not the sort of game that is going to sort of sell you this particular collection. If I think I read the instructions, I might get a bit more out of it, but as I do like with puzzle games, it's probably something that I should probably look at a bit more in future. But generally speaking, most people are just going to pop this on for a couple of minutes and then move on. That's all it is. There is nothing to see here, folks. Please disperse. So that's Ishidu, The Way of Stones. Yes. This is much more enjoyable. This is Jimmy Connor's Tennis. Now, the speech, I don't know if you can hear, he's talking to us. I was so amazed by the speech out of this game in particular. It really sort of made me. I was quite surprised. There's actual speech on this. Wow. It was really, really strange to hear such good quality coming through it. And even when you get to the actual game itself, the umpire, again, very, very well done, very well voiced. You wouldn't expect that from a game this old. It was very, very strange to play. In terms of a tennis game, actually, it's pretty good. I have a few teething issues with it, as you'll see here, because that's a fault, double fault. But it's definitely something I will go back and play. I've played a few decent tennis games over the years. Super Tennis on the Super Nintendo being probably my absolute favourite. But this one, I think, if I sort of sat down, there we go. So after like 2 serves, I managed to get it back in. It's just getting the ball returned back as a problem. But it's not a bad game at all, and I would wholeheartedly recommend putting some time into this one, because if I can pick it up after a couple of quick stabs in the dark, anybody can really. And unlike some tennis games I've played, I actually do manage to win a point at some point. I don't think it's through my own. There we go. Haha. Point. Yeah. So actually, after 4 serves, we've got a point out of it. So it's not bad. Yeah. Give this one a go. I think it's probably quite good. I don't think it's going to break any records for you or be particularly memorable, but definitely worth putting some time into. And yeah, Jimmy Connor's Tennis. Not bad at all, that one. Not bad. This is Loops, which I struggled with greatly because I had absolutely no idea what I'm meant to be doing. I'm pretty sure it was meant to be sort of, whether I've got the right end of the stick on this one, it looks sort of like a pipe mania, which I remember from my days back on the Amiga, where the idea is you sort of build a network of pipes for a liquid to flow through and to the end of the level. But I ended up just sort of like making pretty patterns on the screen. I wasn't really quite sure what I was meant to be doing. Should I have read the instructions before I started? Quite possibly. So I don't think reading them now is going to make any difference whatsoever, is it really? It was a bit strange to play this one, and I really quite got lost in what I was doing. It's also a 2004 game as well, so this is it. Yeah, we must fashion loops out of all the shapes, combining strategy and puzzle element. This game is both unique and especially challenging. Yes, but it still doesn't tell me what I'm meant to be doing. So I sort of struggled a bit with this game, I'm afraid. So I can't really reserve judgment on it. In fact, I probably spent a good half an hour, 40 minutes playing this game and didn't actually get anywhere with it. So can I recommend this game? Of course. not. If somebody knows what's meant to be going on and how you're meant to be playing it, let me know, because that would be really quite useful. I might actually enjoy it a bit more. Now, Malibu Bikini Volleyball, which we join mid-game. And yeah, this is volleyball. I've not played many volleyball games. In fact, the only volleyball game I've ever played was Beach Volley on the Amiga, which was a conversion of a very obscure... I think was it an old arcade game? I'm pretty sure it was an old arcade game. I never remember seeing the arcade game at all. In fact, it may just have been a game they made up for it. I don't know. But it's volleyball, and it's a bit sort of difficult to work out what's going on. Again, in terms of the basketball game, I think this is probably a bit more playable than the basketball game, but it's infinitely more difficult. If you've never played volleyball before, the idea is you get 3 attempts once the ball is served to you to hit it back over the other side and score a point. So this is what we're trying to do, is to sort of lay it up there, so she should then lay it up, and then what I should be doing is doing that, except not into the net. But after a few goes, I'd already managed to do that, which is quite good, so I don't know. But yeah, definitely one I will go back and play a bit more of, because I quite enjoyed having a go at this, and I think if I, again, worked out what I was doing, pressing the right buttons, I'd be a lot better at it. So definitely would recommend investing some time in that one. So that's Malibu Bikini Volleyball. Where are we now? Moving on to another one. Now, this is the other game I mentioned about sort of being a platformer and not having enough space on the screen to work out what the heck's going on. This is Power Factor, and I've got to say, this is probably I would say probably the best looking game on this compilation by quite a stretch of the imagination. You've got a little hover pack built in, and you're going around sort of blowing things up, little drones which are shooting at you, and then walking past this thing and picking. You see there was something on that little panel behind me. Again, I wasn't quite sure what it is. And I have to say, it's great having these little booklets in these Evercade systems, but I've got to be honest with you, sometimes it's incredibly difficult to work out what the heck you're meant to be doing. What's the premise of the game? There doesn't appear to be anything in here at all. So, which is a shame. It's a shame. But what's great about it is the fact that this is a game that I think, I can sit down and play a bit more of this, and I'd like to go at it again and learn more about it. You can see your jetpack there. If you look at the blue bar on the left hand side of the screen, every time you're off the ground and using that, you're using up fuel. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm meant to be doing. I sort of get through towards the end if I just sort of whiz it through here. This is the end of level, so there's some sort of boss, which is some sort of lizard type thing in a spacecraft. And I'm not sure, I guess it's trying to work out what the best method was to kill this particular boss, because as you can see on the right hand side, bottom right side, I've got some missiles and some rockets, but can I select them? Try and hit desperately penetrating beam laser, a disaster, incendiary cartridge, other things here. So I've got a polecat missile, and I've got a fragmenting grenade. So I'd like to use one of those, please, but I can't seem to select it as a weapon, which is really annoying. Yeah, this is why it gets a bit tricky. So, having failed to select this, I think I just decided, you know what, I can't be bothered to do this, and just go up there and try and blast him out of the sky. And that didn't work either, because I eventually ended up running out of fuel, so my jetpack fails. And it'll just drop down in a second. There we go. And yeah, but I want to sit down and play a bit more of this, and I think a lot of people would play this and go, yeah, do you know what, I think I'd really get into that a bit more. So there we go. So that's Power Factor. And I would recommend a bit of time being spent on that one. This very, very quick one, this one, because I got absolutely no idea what was going on. This is Remnant Planar Balls, and it sort of reminded me of Solaris on the Atari 2600, which I did years and years ago, in the fact that I had no idea what I was meant to be doing either. And what I do and what I'm shooting here, I just don't seem to be sort of moving on. Again, I have absolutely should have probably read the booklet to find out what the game's about, but I have absolutely no idea what it was, and it held my attention for about 2 or 3 minutes. And you know what? I thought I got really bored with this. It may have fans out there. If you are one, let me know. But yeah, not overly impressed with that. Swiftly moving on to the next game. This is Scrapyard Dog. Now, this looks really good. I absolutely love the art styling of this game, and the idea, the premise of this game is that your dog has been kidnapped by what I thought was other dogs, which is really, really weird. You've got a little weapon, which I didn't use there because I was trying to work out what the heck I was meant to be doing. But yeah, so that sort of mouse thing there is a bad guy. So you just throw that little thing at him and he disappears. And it's just a left to right platformer. There's nothing groundbreaking about it, but I like the look of it. I think it's, I think that would look lovely if that was sort of reimagined on a 16-bit home console, like a Mega Drive or even the Amiga or something like that. Would look really fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I really really got into this playing it, and well, I didn't have enough time to sink any more time into it. It's probably one of these I would sort of say is right up there. So Power Factor was right up there at the start. Crystal Mines 2. This one probably the third best game on the compilation, and definitely something which I would go back and play, and can heartily recommend if you have this collection, or if you are thinking of getting this collection. Definitely worth spending some time on. So this is Scrapyard Dog, and yeah, I don't think I did too badly on that one. So if I didn't do too badly on it, it's even better. Now, this one is a dual game, and you'll recognise this, retro gaming fans, from the eras of early days of gaming. And as Atari always do, and they've got things out, they always try and reimagine or reinvent old games from their catalogues. So they decided to release a special cartridge, which was Super Asteroids and Super Missile Command. So we're watching Super Asteroids here. Now, I used to play Asteroids on the 2600 when I was a kid. So I absolutely love it. And this is just a slight sort of reimagining of it. Everything's a bit bigger and sort of more modern looking. And it's Asteroids. If you've ever played Asteroids, you know what to expect. If you've never played Asteroids, then you probably won't find this particularly enjoyable at all. You'll notice my method, and this is a method I've always used from start to finish whenever I had Asteroids, and whatever version I was playing Asteroids was to sit in the middle of the screen and not move anywhere. Because sooner or later stuff will come to you. That's my method. Very rarely will I use the sort of hyperspace to move around the screen with. You've also got a little bit of a shield there, so you do find that occasionally you get bumped from one to the other. You've also got a energy bar down the right hand side, which isn't right either, because in Asteroids it was you got hit by one thing, that was it. But yeah, there's little things of spaceships you can see. They're little stars which will replenish your energy. Yeah, all my shield's nearly gone now, as you can see there. But it's Asteroids. If you played Asteroids before, you'll know what to expect. If you've not played Asteroids before, it's worth a look, but you won't probably find it on your rotation. I found it quite enjoyable, but then again, I am an old, sad, stuck in the past person. Now, the other side of that cartridge, as you can see here, sits in Super Asteroids and Super Missile Command, was Super Missile Command, which I must be honest with you, I'd forgotten how to play. What am I meant to be doing? I have no idea at all. But yeah, the idea is you send up these sort of missiles to counteract the ones that have been sent down to you, and you'll do an awful lot better than I did on that first go. So we'll just scan it forward a bit to try and work out what the hell I'm meant to be doing. And this is much better, much better effort. But yeah, I really enjoy playing this. But again, it's when it came out, it's one of those games, and we've spoken about this before on other videos and podcasts, etc. When this was released in the early 1990s, the original game was probably, I think Missile Command was probably 1980, 1981, something like that. So, these games at the time they came out were donkey's years old. Now, if you were, a modern gamer at the time, you're thinking, why on earth would I want to be buying a game which is 10 years old, which is being reimagined onto a cartridge? I think that was very much the attitude at the time of the magazines, and indeed the gaming public at the time. Why would I want to buy a game which has just basically been tarted up a little bit? I want some new games to play. Stop doing it. But for those of you who enjoy the older style games and those games from the past, it's actually pretty good fun. and definitely worth having on there. If you've played Missile Command before, you know what to expect. If you haven't, or never even played a great deal of it like I hadn't, you'll quite enjoy this, but definitely a blast from the past. And that's it. And I think as a cartridge that came out, that probably would have been fair value, but it wouldn't have made you run out and buy a Lynx, that's for sure. Right, where are we now? Super Squeak. Yes, Super Squeak. I think we're on to the penultimate game of the collection now. Yeah, so Super Squeak, it's well, I don't know how to describe it. It's a puzzle platformer type game. The closest thing I can sort of make it imagine to is sort of like a cross between the Blob, which came out on PlayStation 3 and the Wii and the Xbox 360, and that dreadful painting level in the Flintstones, because you have to walk over the tiles to change them, as you were told at the start, from blue to pink. And you've got all these little enemies knocking around, and some power-ups around the board, and all this business, and some arrows telling you which way to go. You can go against the arrows, but it'll take you a lot longer to get where you need to get to. You've got a little weapon to shoot things at, and that's what it is. It's just sort of changing the colours from one to the other. It's very, very simple. It's a basic premise. You can see there I'm trying to walking against the arrows. It's pushing me back all the time I'm doing it. But yeah, I mean it's what it is. It's relatively painless stuff. It's got an awful lot of levels. If you notice at the start there, it said 1 to 50, and there's 5 different islands to sort of work your way through. So it's not going to be a game that's going to be finished in about 5 seconds flat. It's going to keep you occupied, that's for sure. I found it a little tricky on the D-pad. That may be maybe me. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm a genius with these sort of things, but yeah, I know. I think it's again something I would sit down and play, and give it a fair crack of the whip. If I'd have given a bit more time to it, I've just used a bomb there and fallen through the hole. So we've got to start down here again and do some more of these. But it keeps your progress to the point, and it's bright, it's colourful. Yeah, not a bad looking game, and I think with a bit more practice I'd probably get into this really, really well. So that's Super Squeak, and again I would wholeheartedly recommend you giving that one a go. I mean, in terms of the games we've gone through so far, there aren't too many duff ones on here, certainly. We'll come to those at the very, very end. And then the final game on this compilation, which I'm going to show you now, is a game called Zump. And oh my goodness me, I was getting so frustrated with this. I really was. The idea is you can see the light blue passageway, the sort of track, and the idea is not to do that. Walk over. Once you get onto it, the panel disappears. So you've got to follow that. You've got to remove all the light blue tiles from the screen without falling off the track. And I'm not sure whether it's the input controls. I don't know, but I found this possibly one of the twitchiest games I've ever played. And I don't know if it's because I'm trying to, you've got plenty of time to do it. You can see I've got 401, counting 401, the top right hand corner. I'm trying not to. Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? I don't know. But I just found it incredibly twitchy. I'm sort of sitting there with the D-pad, sort of like inching it round each time. And it sort of took away my enjoyment of the game, which is a shame because I think in there is a really good game to play. It's just a real nightmare, and it's a bit of a pity. I think this is a good game, and again I think with a bit more practice I would probably really sit down and play this a lot, but be prepared for some really painful, cheap deaths as we are seeing here. I know I'm not the world's greatest games player, but even I like to think I'm a little bit better than that. And shame, really. And this one as well, I got stuck on this one for absolutely ages. Again, not quite sure what the red dots were. But by walking over the tiles, the red dots, and they didn't disappear. And I was fallen straight off the edge there already. And I was getting really, really frustrated with this one. Just see how twitchy. See, there it is. Whether it's the input control off the emulation or not, I don't know, but it was really, really detracting from my enjoyment of this game. And yeah, anyway, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that is the Evercade Lynx Collection, Volume 1. And on the whole, I think it's a pretty
decent compilation. Certainly for 15 quid, you're getting value for money, no doubt about it. There are, I've said, great games on that one. Scrapyard Dog, Crystal Mines 2, Power Factor, definitely would recommend playing those again. Super Squeak, I think, probably not far behind it. There are a couple of duff ones on here. I didn't particularly enjoy Basket Brawl. Gordo 106 Remnant, Planar Wars wasn't my sort of thing. And If You Do the Way of Stones is really just a Mahjong game on there, which is a bit of a waste of time. Cybervirus as well, not my sort of thing, I'm afraid, and a bit disappointing really. However, not to worry, because it's not a bad little collection. Like I said, one game on there I didn't show you, Mega Pack Volume 1, which is a collection of some of the worst games I've ever seen. I will probably just do a very, very quick video just highlighting how bad that actually is. And you think you're getting 8 games in that little collection as part of this compilation. So 17 full titles. You've got obviously the Missile Command and Asteroids double set in there. And then you've got that Mega Pack Volume 1 with sort of 8 games in it. So basically you're getting sort of like 25 games for it. So value for money, certainly, yes. And there's enough on there to keep people occupied. But there's also a lot of mediocrity in that. And I can't help but think at the back of my mind, I'm a little bit disappointed with it. Now I do have Volume 2 to sort of look at, which I have on my shelf, and that contains some of the bigger games that came out for the Lynx, such as California Games, Chips Challenge, Todd's Adventure in Slime World, Checkered Flag, Blue Lightning, Gates of Zendikon, Zarlaw, Mercenary, and Electro Cop. I will be doing a video on that in the future, because that again was also another sort of selling point to me of the Evercade, that the Atari Lynx collection, and we will give that a go. Can I recommend this particular collection one to you? Yes, but if you can get it cheaper than the RRP, I would certainly say so. I think if you paid the full whack for this one, you might be a little disappointed with some of the quality of it, but generally speaking, I would certainly favour this one rather than... I would certainly favour this one, I think, over anything else. It's probably got more going for it than it hasn't. So definitely worth a go. And if you have the opportunity to pick it up, do so. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed that, thank you very much indeed for listening and watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have done, don't forget to please follow the instructions at the bottom, which says to like, subscribe, tick the notification bell. It's always nice to hear from new people, to hear from regular viewers, and know that people are enjoying the content on the channel. But until then, this is the Retro Bear saying thank you very much indeed for your time, and I'll be speaking to you again very, very soon. But until then, do take care, and bye for now.